What's going on, world? It's NRW. Nerds rule the world, back for another week of entertainment picks. For the second to the last week in May. This year is going by fast in a way. I don't know how you feel about that, Heather, but all of a sudden I feel like it's moving so fast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. It's Tuesday and it already feels like it's been a very, very long week. So
But does the year feel like it's going by super fast for you or no?
I don't think it feels like it's going. We had this weird point where, thanks to climate change and the fact that spring is nearly non-existent anymore, we kind of lost a season. And Virginia, for all of you humans out there that don't live like in the central part of the country, it usually has 4 solid seasons, and we're kind of being reduced to like two and like 2/4 seasons. So so what we have is we jumped right into summer, and I think that's why it feels fast. We just lost an entire season. So I think that's what happened. It's not necessarily that it's going fast, it's just that it's something was missed, if you know what I mean.
I can feel that. I can feel that. Yeah, wild, wild. Anyway, Heather, I've been trying to catch up on stuff, before we generally do our picks, try to talk about what we're watching, hits and or misses. I'm curious, because you and I are both Marvel heads, as well as DC. I know you're more of a DC than a Marvel because of Nightwing's butt and all, but
The
I
only
think on Netflix, what did I just get? I'm confusing my streaming services right now. But I recently watched, since our last show, Sony's and Marvel's collaboration on Madam Web. I know we didn't discuss it. We didn't even promote it because of all the things, with all the other stuff we have to watch. So I gave it a try. I didn't have to pay for it. It was on the streaming service.
I mean, you had to pay for it, but
Which, yeah, I am paying for the streaming service, but I caught it, homie.
sounds like a
It was
disease.
interesting. I was wondering if you did the same.
I have not watched it yet, though. To be fair, we have if y'all are subscribing to this channel, you might see something else with Dakota Johnson on our channel pretty soon. No, I have not watched it. And this is it's one of those movies where I actually, even at the offset, something felt wonky about it to me. And I'm like, nah. Will I watch it? Nah.
Really? I kind of want you to watch the car wreck. Because I got subjected to the car wreck, but I did it willingly.
The Spider-Verse is a very intricate thing, and I was already only partially attached to it. I've got arachnophobia. What can you say? Spider-Man is also one of those characters that like didn't hit me. I love the films, the Spider-Verse, and I'm enjoying many of the adaptions, but when it comes down to it, like Spider-Man isn't my jam. And so the Spider-Verse isn't something that necessarily gets me. And there was always something kind of off about Madam Web. And I'm like, you're not going to do the characters right. You have the main character just flubbing up everything. Like, I don't feel like I want to support, like, let's put it this way. Venom is a train wreck, but is a train wreck you want to watch. Madam Web is the chemical spill that happened because the government's not taking care of is not requiring proper statutes and any of that for the system. So like,
Okay, so I guess I won't plan on doing that review with you at some
you really
point.
want me to watch it to do a review, I will watch
I
it.
kind of want, because you're a comics retailer, you're a comic fan, and boy, girl, and I'm curious your thoughts. But if you don't,
Okay.
I can figure something out. But that does lead me to then ask you two questions.
Okay.
Did you watch Morbius, and will you watch Kraven the Hunter? Both Sony Marvel projects, one that is already released, and then one that is on the way.
I'm not going, if other than Haunted Mansion, I had to be subjected to a film that was led by a cultist sexual predator. So when it comes down to it, no, I am not going to put my support in any film that has Jared Leto in it. I'm actually
That's why I was
deeply
curious. I was sure you probably didn't do that one.
I'm actually very, very upset. Like, I'm a big Tron fan. I love Tron. And the fact that the next Tron is going to have him as a lead character actually completely devastates me. Disney, I have no idea what Jared Leto has on you, but whatever it is, y'all just let it go. Just let it go. It's nothing worse than him. It's nothing. When it comes to Craven, why is it rated R? Was pushed till
Yeah.
December so it doesn't have to compete with other R films. Um, I have no idea. I will probably see Craven at streaming. I highly doubt. Like, even if you get a +1 to a screening, I am probably not gonna go see Craven. Like, go. I might, depending on how my friends within the comics community respond to it, because I have friends who they have to see every single one. Depending on what some
That's
of
how
them
I feel.
say, maybe, but on stream, probably on stream.
Okay. All right. So stay tuned, y'all. Let's see how this situation develops with Heather and these ridiculous Sony Marvel combos. With the exception of the actual Spider-Man stuff. They've actually really worked with Marvel and Kevin Feige and did some stuff right. The other stuff, anyway, stay tuned for a possible review. We may make it happen. What have you been watching though, Heather? So that was what I watched between our last thing. I know there's things we can't watch, and I was gonna segue as well to I'm we haven't done our review yet, but Daddy-O maybe help give that bad taste out of your mouth from Mad Web Web. I know it did for me. So shout out to Dakota. Sean Penn helped along with that. Stay tuned for that review. But what have you watched?
So the big one that we watched this weekend, my husband's been getting over there's some sort of like weird flu going around right now. So he's been kind of like down in the dumps, kind of sicky. And something I was lucky to watch. I only watched the first 3 episodes prior to my interviews, but I did some interviews for Monarch that came to Apple TV. It's part of the Godzilla, the monster universe and the Godzilla U, and he never got to watch it. So this weekend he actually started it, and the two of us finished it together. Monarch is a great series. It's a really, really fun series, and it kind of goes back to basics when it comes to the monster universe. A lot of people, especially with Godzilla Kong, were kind of like, it's kind of getting a little bit goofy, and that makes sense. In all reality, though, they're freaking kaiju. Like, they're going to be goofy at some point. But what I really loved about Monarch is that it still felt like some of the first films in this, and there was like bare bones acting and storytelling, and I really like it. So if you haven't yet, especially if you really enjoy the Godzilla universe, definitely check out Monarch, because it actually kind of interconnects a lot of the like kind of the breaks in the story. And what I love is when I spoke to the producers, it's the story behind the story. It's the humans. It's not the monsters. So like if you haven't yet, definitely check out Monarch.
So yeah, I plan to go back and finish that up. I think I caught like the first 3 or 4 episodes. Definitely want to go back to that. But yeah, it hasn't gotten a little hokey. Did we watch Godzilla Kong together? The
You and
latest
Glenn
one?
did. You and Glenn did.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you haven't seen the new one, the
I
newer
haven't
Godzilla.
seen the new one yet. It's
Okay.
not that it's one. Well, I love the kaiju. I love them. Godzilla is personally my jam versus Kong. But it's one of those where it kind of got a little bit too far-fetched for me. It's kind of like we talked about this in Kingdom of the Apes, of Planet of the Apes. Um, when you get a little bit off key, off kilter, and the story isn't what it was, and every expansive universe does this. Don't get like Marvel's done it, DC has done it. Everyone does this when you get too expansive. You have to play up this kind of grandiose theme, and I think Godzilla Kong finally got me to that point where I was just like, I'm okay waiting for this for stream. I'm okay.
I would say that's where they're at now. If y'all hadn't seen our review, well, my review with Glenn and all that, I thought you were with me on that one. It all bleeds together. But yeah, it's fun, stupid fun, like you're saying. But I like that with Monarch, they can focus a little bit on the human aspect of living, because I like it's akin to Marvels for me. Remember Marvels?
Mhm.
Alex Ross, where that was really sweet, where we could see the human perspective of people living in the Marvel universe, and I like that. And we need that. Would you like to see a Marvel's film, Heather?
I would love to see a
That,
Marvel's film. If
that would
y'all
be
haven't,
so dope. And set it during that time period too. I want classic 40s. Although they probably wouldn't do that now. They probably want to put it into current timeline, but
I mean,
that
but
would be awesome.
Marvel's cross timelines. Like if what's really cool, if y'all haven't read the Marvels book, Marvels is actually based off of news stories that happened during the peak ends of the superhero world in New York. And it's, oh my gosh, read it. It's Alex Ross. I mean, Kuya has the sign up in his room if you don't see it. I have a signed copy of it. Like it's it's an amazing book if you haven't read it. It's gorgeous. I mean, if you have read Justice, you need to read Marvel.
Oh, right here. There it is.
Yeah. It's
Yes,
okay.
it's epic. It's epic. And that is still an Alex Ross piece right under it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm an Alex Ross guy. I got a Crisis on Infinite Earths in front of me that's signed by Alex. I'm a big fan of Alex.
I got to meet him. I was actually third in line to see him one time, and like it was right after my best friend died, and I got a poster from him, and it was really sweet. And I understand.
Yeah, Alex is cool. Met him a few times. Along with Sal Abinanti, who's part of his studio, who's an artist himself. Good peoples. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked, y'all, but we're comics people, y'all. But yeah, if you haven't read Marvels, if you want to see that bent of like humans in a superhero world, I like the idea with Monarch in a kaiju world. But anyway, good stuff. Yeah, I got sidetracked because we were nerding out real quick, Heather. Let's talk about some picks this week. You ready?
Oh, wait, you didn't say what you were watching.
Oh, well, Madam Web. I just said
Web.
Madam Web. That was one that was review to come. What was good? Some stuff we'll be talking about soon, but I gotta hold on that. What can I talk about? I don't think there's anything I can talk about, to be honest. So y'all will just have to stand by.
You watched Garfield. You watched Garfield.
Oh, well, that's gonna be part of the picks this week.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. So yeah,
I was gonna say that's something you can definitely talk about.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, but because it's part of the picks, then I'll be putting it in there. Okay. So, but yeah, more to follow, y'all. Y'all know we keeping it busy, putting in that work. Heather, thank you for trying to help me out too, though. I saw what you're trying to do there. So let's get to those picks. Let's get to what we're talking about this week. This first one of the three that I'm picking this week, I didn't get a chance to see, but I have put a feeler out with my friends at Netflix, even though it is going to be coming out as of this recording in 3 days. So I could possibly do an advanced review and hopefully get Heather to check it out too, and we could drop an advanced review within that 3 days. Who knows? It's coming to Netflix, and it stars the one and only Jennifer Lopez. But as some of the other J-Lo direct to Netflix films have been, my hopes aren't that big. But I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Simu Liu's in it. There's a couple other folks in it. It's sci-fi. I'm talking Atlas, y'all. You ready to check this one out, Heather?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Good morning, Atlas. Time to wake up.
I'm awake.
Agent Atlas Shepard has spent years of her life hunting the artificial intelligence known as Harlan. Originally engineered to advance humanity, instead nearly ended it.
If you really want to try to capture me,
Sure.
you need me on that mission.
Mayday! We are under attack!
What do I do?
Stop it!
This is more story than the last trailer.
Oh my god.
Slightly more intrigued.
Okay, this is out of control.
This planet is unstable and inhospitable.
Atlas, my name is Smith.
Is that really necessary? You're a computer program.
I'm driving through hell and out in raw snow.
No, I'm not.
No? What are you then?
I am a computer program named Smith.
No one likes a smartass Smith. We don't have much time. Harlan's planning an attack.
Atlas, my primary protocol is to keep you alive.
Same! I don't need your help. I don't trust any AI. Smith!
Okay, this is out of control.
Atlas, this won't work if you don't trust me.
Okay.
I know about it. Know about it. Know about it. Know about it. Know
This is what it feels like to be you.
This is what it feels like to be us.
It's beautiful.
I know about it. Know about it. Know about it. Know about it.
Don't worry. We are simply the better versions of you.
If we don't stop Harlem, all life on Earth is doomed.
Everything I know about it.
Shit.
You're in my head, and the only thing you learn how to do is curse?
I'm an adaptive learner.
Okay, let's go, bitch.
Okay, this is out of control. Okay, this is out of control.
There we go. Coming to Netflix, Atlas, J-Lo, Simu Liu, a couple other casts. I can't remember the rest of the actors in there. What do you think, Heather? A little bit more than when we did the React, or I don't know if you were on that
I don't
React.
think I was on the React. I don't know about you, but Netflix has already gotten in trouble for trying to take on to use AI to replicate, to get actors to, give up their, facial recognition and stuff like that. So to me, this seems like propaganda relating to we need to trust AI a little bit more.
Did she say that? Did she say that? She said it. I'm with you.
I'm sorry, Netflix. You did what you did. I might get blacklisted a little bit, but you did what you did. My thing about JLo movies is that they are mostly miss in a hit and miss situation. And the hits are usually when she does romantic comedies. It also is coming at a really unfortunate time when, Ben Affleck is basically coming out and saying that she's just a horrible, horrible partner. That's more unfortunate than anything. It's just kind of funny. But at the same, JLo, honey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. Best of luck for all of your fans. I hope that they enjoy this. She's got some diehard fans, and you know what? Rock on. I hope it's good.
All right. So thank you, Heather. You know what? You went too far off. And I say that as a JLo fan. I ain't gonna lie. I used to crush on JLo hard. Super hard. She was one of my passes. When my wife and I would, we've all discussed that with our significant others. My wife is well aware of my JLo love from pretty much my naval career when I was in the military from 96 to 2000. Her early days, being on In Living Color to being a I was going to say singer, but she really wasn't a singer. More so dancer a little bit. And then early acting career. And then she's who we know now. I don't know. There's just a special place in our part. But I can't lie. Her films have been, if not the romantic comedies have been a lot better. But all the other stuff have been mid, if you will, to take something from MJF. Very mid. So, but yeah, there's something in it that I kind of, I'm curious to see it. Simu Liu is in there playing the villain. And can't forget the guy from Us. Well, not Us. This Is Us. His name is escaping me, and he was in my favorite film last year. You know what I'm talking about. He was in the other co-pilot in the other thing. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious. I have a Netflix subscription. I'll check it out. I probably won't catch it because I'm actually going out of town this week. So probably this coming week, but I'll see it eventually. It's there. So anyway, we'll leave JLo alone. But I feel you. There's just, part of me that wants to check that out. And hey, like I said, I reached out to Netflix.
They might say no after my statement, but
that's if they see this before then. Well, we'll see. I already put the feeler out there, so hopefully we'll see what happens. But there you go, y'all. Those are our feelings on Atlas dropping this week. Top 2 films, y'all. I got one big family film and one film that's completely different than that film. But if you're an action family, you're gonna probably want to see both these films. The first up is a big orange cat that loves lasagna. I'm talking the Garfield movie. Heather, you ready to check this one out?
Sure.
All right.
We all had that cat.
Wait here. I'll be right back.
You hungry, little guy?
Mamma mia, style lasagna to go.
I'm gonna name you Garfield.
Let's get it.
Good morning.
You deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me. We're gonna need the big scale.
Does she need to announce it to the whole office?
Say when.
Never, John. Bury me in cheese.
Life here is pretty near perfect. Little did I know, it was all about to collapse. Odie, I'm dreaming again. Slap me across the face.
I think this is a case of mistaken identity. You must be looking for another gorgeous, lovable kitty cat.
Big bag hunter with the she got a big bag, drop it. Come on, Junior. You.
Huh?
This is Vic, my father.
Welcome back, Victor.
Listen, I need your help.
Get them!
I haven't seen you for years, and when I do, you're on the run from a deranged cat.
We need to toughen you up. Hey, I know tough, Vic. You've obviously never been in an Olive Garden that's run out of breadsticks. Follow my lead. Oh, cheddar. Probably one of my top 26 favorite cheeses.
My orange tabby and my dog are both missing.
Your call is very important. There are
1,046
people ahead of you.
Stop them now!
We have to go save my dad.
Oh, that cat's a goner.
You think you can battle these villains on your own?
If I don't make it back.
Tell my story.
Hey, little mama, yeah, you heard about me. You heard about me. Ow,
Part of me wants to help him.
No, this is how he learns.
No, please, no. Ow, it's so hot. Ow, it's really hurting. Ow, ow, ow.
You saw nothing.
All right, the Garfield movie, Heather. So, I had a chance to check this out. I have a full review coming to the channel within a day or so of this recording. Hopefully right before it drops. I enjoyed it. I dropped my initial thoughts already on the channel. I'm a big fan of Garfield. I used to grow up with reading the books, kind of like the longer books, which were really cool and different compared to like all the other books we would get at like the library. You know how like they're longer, you know, like
Yeah, they're the serial book. They're the serial
yeah,
books. Yep.
which always was very kind of cool and unique. I thought that was cool. But I think we never saw like a talk about like Garfield having a dad. Like
No, we have. Yeah.
they did do that in the comic? Okay, then I must have missed that. So I thought this wasn't canon in a way.
I mean, I'm sure this story is not canon.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. So I thought there was a lot of isms from the stuff that I love about Garfield in there. A lot of images they recreated that are in there that are really cool. And I think it was pretty cool. I'm trying not to give you all my full review right now, but I would suggest people check it out. My one big thing with it, and I know Heather has very much the same issue, I think all the break when we watch the trailer and all this. Chris Pratt doesn't need to do everything. Chris Pratt is a problem. Chris Pratt brought nothing to this. Chris Pratt is just being Chris Pratt. Fucking Bill Murray's still right there, y'all. Bill Murray's just, he's right there. I'm saying, and or a billion other talented voice actors that don't have name recognition that could blow Chris Pratt out the water and would actually give us that tone of what we know Garfield's voice to be. To me, the voice will always be those cartoons that I watched in the day, and then it later became somewhat Bill Murray. But Bill Murray at least kind of channeled that voice to a degree from the cartoons. And yeah, that's the voice. Here, Chris Pratt does none of that. He's not doing that voice at all. He's just being himself. He did sufficiently do the job to just do the character, some certain inflection, but he didn't do like the voice of Garfield. He was just being Chris Pratt. Other than that, again, great job. Chris was serviceable, but I was just cognizant this is fucking Chris Pratt. Why are we giving Chris Pratt money? It didn't need to be Chris Pratt. Anyway, Samuel Jackson's really cool as the voice of Vic, the Garfield's father. I really liked Ving Rhames as the Ox, and Hannah Waddingham plays this evil kitty, Jinx. I love her. Ted Lasso. I know Heather likes Ted Lasso, and Hannah Waddingham is just brilliant. But anyway, full review coming soon. Heather, what do you think? I just had to say, fuck Chris Pratt. Anyway, did I just say that? I did.
You did. I think I've said it in the past a couple times.
So it was my turn.
So I lost. So this is actually the anniversary. Yes, 2 days ago was the anniversary of when I lost my orange kitty. So it's kind of a heavy. Like, I know that it's one of those things where it's like I would cry seeing this movie, like in a personal way, not because of anything that happens in the movie. So it'll be curious to see if I can even see it right now. But when it comes down to something like this, one thing that's just really like, gnawing at my craw, is that what we have is we have a surplus of reboots that are trying to create a new face and a new spot for themselves in the zeitgeist of today versus what they were in the past. So to the point of the production company trying to re-voice certain characters, even if we pull out Chris Pratt, like there's a lot of characters that we've loved, that we've seen from our childhoods. But they're trying to grow them into the next generation, to the next set of children who are currently going through what we went through. And it's one of those where it's like, I can kind of get if you want to try and revoice, but there are voice actors out there being voice actors. And what we're seeing a lot of right now is animation companies not taking, what they have to have is they have to have those break screens where you have the big names pop up. We don't. When we were watching stuff on Disney Channel, or when we were watching like those classic Disney movies, it didn't matter who the fuck was playing, Simba in Lion King. It didn't, because what we were going to see this beautiful animated film. And if there was a big star, you didn't even know it until after the movie or while you were watching it. And just as an example, with a lot of Disney movies back in the day, they were musical theater stars. So unless you were a theater person, you didn't know unless you like went digging until afterwards who the actors were. It was something that just happened. Nowadays, what we have is we kind of have this weird, there have to be big stars to pull it in. If there have to be big stars to pull in something, to pull people into your movie, it did not have strength enough on its own 2 feet. And like, that's really something that I see in this movie. It's why did it have, it's not even that it has to be Chris Pratt. We're pretty about Chris Pratt here. We made that very clear. Why did it have to be Chris Pratt? Why? Like, why did you have to have that name being Garfield? Garfield is already a name. If you actually had an actor who wanted to voice Garfield, even if it was a new voice, why did it have to be Chris Pratt? Why couldn't it have been someone who could help you get Garfield off the ground? Like, that's my thing. And that's the one big push against this movie for me, and against a lot of current animated films for me.
I completely agree. And you kind of had me thinking in regards to how I highlighted, obviously, fuck Chris Pratt. I highlighted Samuel L. Jackson. To be honest, and again, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm going to give a full review, but it really didn't need to be Samuel L. Jackson to be completely 100%. So again, that just like, man, they did pull him to get the audience. Didn't need to be Samuel L. Jackson. The one that I really, really have to give mucho props on is there's the Ox played by Ving Rhames. That was really cool.
But Ving Rhames has also been doing voices for years.
Yeah.
Like it's
and he has one of those voices though. Like
yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the thing is it's like I love Sam L. Sam L is king. I'm never going to say anything negative about him. What I will say in critique, he doesn't do voices either. He does his voice.
And he wasn't even doing his voice in this, which is weird. Oh. You brought in Samuel L. Jackson, but he ain't doing his regular Samuel L. Jackson stuff. Okay. There was a couple isms, but it's not like a Samuel L. Jackson.
That's good to me though, because in the past, Sam L. has done Sam L. And
True.
I'm like, but no matter what, there's voice actors out. There's incredibly talented people. If you need a name up on that screen to pull in the audience, your story might not be strong enough on its own.
I completely agree. So yeah, just completely agree with you, Heather. I just wanted to add about that. Mm-hmm. Those that, again, I'll have a full review. Samuel ain't even doing his voice. Snoop Dogg was like a surprise because the dog playing a cat. But Ving, like, insane. That was the one voice I would stand behind that one if you're breaking down this cast and stars and other folk. Other great voice actors. Excuse me. So anyway, we'll get off of that. Top pick this week. I know y'all are furious. I know y'all mad. We went so long, but that's just how we feel about Chris Pratt. Let's get to Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. My number one pick this week. Here we go.
If anyone is still watching at this point.
Furiosa! We've come too far. Furiosa! They took Furiosa!
As a child, my world was forever changed. My mother was magnificent. And he took it all from me.
Who do we have here?
She's from a place of abundance. This is our destiny.
My childhood. My mother. I want them back. I want them back!
Whatever you have to do, however long it takes, promise you'll find your way home. Protect the green place.
It's time to take what's rightfully ours! Ready? Steady! Go! Where are you going? So full of hope! There is no hope!
If you find him, he's mine.
There will always be war, but to get home, Furiosa fought the world.
Remember me.
All right, Furiosa. Heather, before I tell my thoughts and all the things, what do you think about it? Were you a fan of the franchise? How excited are you for this one? If you are.
I mean, it's, as a comic book fan, yeah, of course, I'm a fan of Mad Max. I've watched the original. I watched this is the third film, fourth film.
Second one in the new
stories.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's one of those where them expanding the universe is going to be curious to me. I really like their perspective on this. I really like their moral take, and I'm not racing to the theaters to see it, and it's not necessarily because I'm not excited for it. I don't know what it is. There's just something about this movie that's like, I'm okay waiting for all of the hype to go down a little bit, and then I'll go see it. Like, I'm not worried about being spoiled. But I also don't, like, this is not one of those movies I want to compete for seats for, if that makes sense.
I feel that.
I'm okay going in like 2 weeks.
Okay. You do want to see it in the theater though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Because the one thing I would say, this is definitely a theater worthy film. Okay. IMAX, 4X, whatever you have at your theater, big screen, Dolby digital sound. It's filmed in that way cinematically and just everything. It's those big action epics you want to see in the theater. But I respect that. So I saw this, y'all. I have a full review with my pal Anthony Francis from Film Threat, who's also, he's done a couple reviews already with the channel. We'll be doing more partnerships with them to build out our audience with their audience. Shout out to my pal Anthony. So stay tuned for that review. I'm a fan of the franchise. I really enjoyed Fury Road. The fact that we got this prequel to Fury Road with Furiosa, I'm excited, and I hope they do build it out even more, the universe, tell other tales within this universe. I'm excited for it. So yeah, George Miller, again, I did initial thoughts coming out of it the other night, because actually as of this recording, I watched it the night before. He brings it. He knows this universe. This is his baby. Action epic. The scenes, just everything is done really well. I will say I like the story in Fury Road more than this one. This one I felt the length of this one. This is about 2.5 hours I think on this one.
Okay.
And I felt it. It's kind of broken up a little bit in chapters to a degree. So there is that. Anya Taylor-Joy actually doesn't come into like about 25 to 30 minutes into the film. So that young child actor that you see that plays young Furiosa gets quite a bit of time. And I gotta say, she's phenomenal. I actually wanted more of that little girl seeing young Furiosa a little bit before he got in. But not to say that Anya Taylor-Joy wasn't good. She's outstanding. But yeah, that young actor brought it. And I just I'm giving praise to that young actor because she did a phenomenal job. And I was like, oh, let me see more of this young Furiosa. But yeah, we get to learn more about this universe. It builds it out. But there are some moments that I'm like, man, I was feeling every bit of that time, though, to a degree. Even though we had some action, there's this amazing chasing. Obviously, it's going to have some great action scenes. But kind of like how I felt with the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes review that we did. They're building out this new franchise with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes because it's the next part of that series from the previous films. And they wanted to establish these things with these new characters. Here, we're coming off of Fury Road that that was a money maker. It did really well. We're now going back to this universe. I don't know if George Miller is planning other stuff or if he's going to kind of oversee things with other folks. But yeah, they're building up this prequel. They had all this story. So there's certain parts that I felt could have been edited because it just felt long to just build things out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to give this young Furiosa. Then we go into the little bit older Furiosa, then to where we are Furiosa right before Fury Road. And so I felt that. And I saw some other reviewers, we're all praising it, but other reviewers that are really being honest, you kind of feel that length a little bit. And I'm very curious once the general public sees it, if they're going to feel that length as well. And it kind of also has me thinking that this is probably why there was this question that came on the internet a couple weeks back. I don't know if you remember, Heather. They were saying the perfect film length time should be, I think they said like 90 minutes or like 120 minutes.
The perfect length of a film is 135 minutes.
And I'm kind of like, I'm not about that. I like long films.
Yeah.
As long as it works with the story and you don't, and because there's certain times that you don't even feel it, just how you layer and how you kind of interject the story along to, for that adrenaline rush, a little bit of a low, high, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep the audience engaged. But that requires a very good screenwriter to make you not feel that ride like that. Like Lord of the Rings, I want to say the initial Lord of the Rings way back when, I didn't feel those. Was it 3 hours with those Lord of the Rings films back in the day?
I watched Return of the King 17 times in theaters, and you know what?
You didn't feel it.
But at the same time, I could understand that argument being a little bit lax because there's fans. The shortest one I watched was Two Towers, and I watched that 12 times. But it was one of those where I think a better example would be something like Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a 3-hour film and it felt like 3 hours, but it felt like 3 hours on purpose. If you want a film to be long, then you make it feel long. If you don't want the lag, if you want there to be a cohesive storyline, you need to have someone who edits properly. There's always room for a director's cut. There is always room for a director's cut. And we're not saying that you need to cut out the big important things. What you need, we want a cohesive story that if you want it, if it needs to be 2 hours, fill up that 2 hours to keep the audience engaged. I'm trying to think of, there was a movie very recently that we watched and we were both like, why was it like Avatar?
Yeah, I was trying to think too, Heather. So you know what I'm talking about then, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, and the thing is, you could cut out an hour of Avatar and it'd be the same film. And so and that's kind of, and you know what? You're actually not the first person I've heard say this. If you cut out like 20 minutes, and it's not even like a full 30 minutes, it's, make Furiosa 2 hours versus 2.5. And you could have had the same film with just as much energy. And that's the thing is it's about the energy. You can have a 3-hour film that feels like 3 hours, but you can also have a 3-hour film that feels like you've been in the theater for an hour and a half and you're like, wait, where did the time go?
Yeah. Like that's why I don't want to be like a hater, because I am one of those people that like long movies, but then maybe save it for like the director's cut on the digital release. But although if I am all about the film, then I do want to see it in the big screen. So let me pull back on that, because I do want that, so I'm happy that it exists. But if I'm being a professional critic and just saying, hey, I felt it, and I did. If it was a Marvel film, I probably wouldn't have felt it because I'm a big Marvel head. And which is crazy, I am a Mad Max fan, but I did feel this.
There have been Marvel movies where you don't want someone looking at the clock.
Yeah.
I'm going to put The Last Guardians of the Galaxy. I looked at my clock a couple times, like, why is this so long? Like, it's one of those.
And I didn't, even though I don't have a problem with Chris Pratt. I know you do, but I have a problem.
Yeah. It's one of those where it's looking at your clock. I always want to see. I mean, I've seen the extended version of Lord of the Rings in theaters multiple times, and it's one of those where it's okay that you want to have those extra little bits, but as critics, we're also saying this as critics. What did that extra 20 minutes add to your story, other than a couple of critics now saying, why was it there?
Yeah.
So like it's kind of one of that give and take. Yes, we want to see every high action moment, but at the same time, if you have critics going, why, then it's kind of that give and take. Where do you get it so that the critics aren't asking why it was 2.5 hours long?
Yeah. So I hope if you're all Mad Max fans out there, you're gonna get a lot of Mad Max in this universe. But just pointing that out there as something that felt. I'm happy I didn't drink too much soda, because I would have had to get up quite a bit. But I did enjoy it. Another great installment. I hope fans dig it. But yeah, I think that is where this question is starting with proper length of times of films. I'm a proponent for long films, but also make it have meaning, or make it, like everything Heather said. It's escaping me now because my brain is all over the place.
Avatar.
But there's exactly. So those are the picks. Atlas on Netflix, the Garfield movie, and Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Where am I at this week, Heather?
This is a solid, like I'm excited. I am excited about Furiosa. Once again, I'm okay with not fighting the crowds with it, but I am excited for it. Garfield is emotionally going to be hard for me, but at the same time, I'm not running towards it. And I'm sorry, JLo fans. Y'all can take that one off of me.
Mid. All right, I understand that. I understand it. Yeah. I think if I didn't have Chris Pratt in there, I'm kind of like this, because I saw the 2 and 3, and then although I'm a Furiosa fan, but just I'm kind of, I don't know. Anyway, let us know your thoughts. Am I off base? Am I wrong? Let me know. Comments below. But we're just trying to keep it real here. If anything, we're gonna keep it real here at the NRW. All right, Heather, thank you so much as always. Anything last thoughts, anything you want to throw out? We're heading into Memorial Day weekend. So long weekend, y'all. A lot of films to check out, enjoy. I want to push Fall Guy, still in theaters. If I had problems with, maybe that's kind of a pass for me.
I was gonna say, don't push it. That's there's a lot of people that have a lot of problems with that movie, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There's great movies to come, but pick, what, also make sure to check what's small that came to your theater. You never know what will surprise you. And we actually have one with, we already mentioned it a couple times, but check out our Daddy-O review.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, check out our Daddy-O review that's coming later on.
All right, y'all. There you go. Tons of reviews coming your way. Heather Hurt, your boy Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World.